Hi, everyone. Good evening and welcome. It is time for Purdue Football Live, and we are live tonight from walk-ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, and we are back on our normal night of Thursday nights, back to our normal time of 6:05. The only thing that's a little different tonight is, much like last week, no Tim Newton. I'm Rob Blackman filling in for the voice of the football Boilermakers, as Tim has the night off. But before you give him a hard time, Tim has the night off for a very good reason. This evening, roundabout right now actually, Tim is being honored by the College of Liberal Arts with the 2024 Distinguished Alumni Award. Can I get a round of applause for that? Yes, sir, Tim Newton. He will join the likes of, John Wooden, Leroy Keys, Matt Painter, Sully Solenberger. Not a bad list to be involved with Tim Newton joining that list of distinguished alumni. So congratulations to Tim. We thought it would be okay to give him the night off so he could celebrate with he and his family. So Tim will be back with us on Saturday when the Boilermakers take on Nebraska on a homecoming Saturday matchup at 12 noon in what is also the Big Ten opener. Lots to talk about tonight with head coach Ryan Walters. He'll be alongside, as he always is. We'll look back at the Saturday loss against Oregon State, and we'll preview that huge matchup coming up Saturday against the Cornhuskers. It is the Big Ten opener and a chance for Purdue to play in front of a sold-out crowd on that homecoming Saturday. Congratulations, fans, by the way. 61,000 plus will be at Ross-Age Stadium Saturday for a sold-out Purdue homecoming matchup. Also joining me today from the offensive line, Gus Hartwig, the Zionsville resident, joins me to talk Boilermaker football and how things are shaping up on the offensive side of the football. And defensively, we'll talk to Kydran Jenkins. What a season he is having. What a game he had last Saturday at Oregon State. What a game he had last year against Nebraska, you might remember. We'll talk to KJ about that. So we have a lot of things to talk about tonight. We appreciate you making us a part of your evening. And we're happy you're with us, whether you're listening the old-fashioned way on the radio, maybe you're with us on Facebook Live or X Live or the YouTube channel, maybe on the Varsity Network app. However you have found us today, we say thanks. When we come back to Purdue Football Live, I'll be joined by the head coach of the Boilermakers, Ryan Walters. You're listening to Purdue Football Live on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Durham down here.
Good call, man. Haven't seen 87 yet tonight. 3rd and goal, empty backfield, O'Connell. Over the middle, zips it towards the back of the end zone. That's caught for a touchdown by T.J. Sheffield. To Sheffield. Purdue on the board first at home.
It usually translates in the pocket.
Purdue 2 out of 2 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 12. They go back to Jones, a back shoulder catch. O'Connell on the slant, throws a dart. Jones keeps his feet. Jones to the end zone. Touchdown, Purdue. O'Connell and Jones once again. 31-yard touchdown. All 3 timeouts. 5:41 to go until halftime. They fake it to Grant. Thompson rolling. Now throwing, and that's intercepted. It's picked off. On the return, Clyde Washington. It's Maccabee right side. Maccabee into the end zone. Touchdown, Purdue.
Or that.
Indiana. Maccabee into the end zone. Purdue adds on to its lead. We're back in 30 seconds. Important 3rd down here. And that's caught Sheffield. Sheffield spins free. Sheffield dives. Touchdown, Purdue. To his running backs. And once again found T.J. Sheffield for the 2nd time tonight. Slipped away once, twice, and found the end zone map for the 2nd. Thompson picks up 6. Nebraska moves the chains down 7. Now here's the chance, and into coverage, incomplete. Incomplete. O'Connell will throw, and that's caught by Jones. Touchdown, Purdue. What a pass.
Away from anybody. He's eminently covered, and look at this ball. Right.
Welcome back to Purdue Football Live tonight at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where there's validated parking and kids eat free on Tuesdays. Keep that in mind. I should have mentioned this in the first segment. For those alumni that are back for homecoming weekend a little bit early, maybe you're already here on this Thursday, welcome back. Nice to have you with us, and we We hope you can partake in all the homecoming festivities that will be taking place here over the next few days. None more important, of course, than the game on Saturday against Nebraska. I'm Rob Blackman filling in for Tim Newton, and the head coach of the Boilermakers, Ryan Walters, is alongside. Coach Walters, this is something I always say. Football season or men's basketball season, I've been with the radio network for 20 years. I know I'm not the only one that says it, but whenever we get to that first Big Ten game, regardless of sport, I always say, the real season starts now.
Right.
Am I overstating that?
No, I mean, we've been talking about like, okay, we had, basically preseason, and now it's time to go. Learned a lot from the first 3 games, and have made adjustments and cataloged information, and we're ready to go.
So let's take an overview of those first 3 games. Indiana State, Notre Dame, Oregon State. As a staff, as you evaluate, as you try to make the necessary corrections, what are you seeing, both good and bad? What did you take from those pre-Big Ten games that leads you to believe things are going the right direction here?
Yeah, I'll kind of just take you through, from game 1 till right now. The first game, you have all this build-up, fall camp, and guys are excited, and then you go out and you perform and execute the way you want to, and then you have a week off, with the bye week, and it's an awkward time to have a bye week right after the first game of the season, and then you play a very good Notre Dame team that was coming off of 2 really hard-fought games and battle-tested, and I think the physicality of that game surprised us, and things just kind of started to snowball. Like everything that could have went wrong kind of went wrong that day.
Sure.
So we learned from that, and on defense, tackling was definitely an issue, and so put a point of emphasis of that in practice. And then we went on a long road trip, a 4.5, 5-hour flight to Oregon. Played a good Oregon State football team, and a good environment in Corvallis. And then you saw up and downs during that game. I thought defensively for 3.5 quarters we played well. Guys were flying around, making plays, tackled well. Put out fires in inopportune times. And then offensively, I thought we ran the ball really well and played physical up front. But again, just didn't play complementary football.
Sure.
And you can't do that, on the road and not take advantage of opportunities to put points on the board and to keep the defense off the field. And then at the end of the game, when we finally started to click offensively, we couldn't get a stop. And so. Just like I said, playing complementary football is of the utmost importance, and I think we've learned a lot about who we are and where we need to go heading into Big Ten play. Going
into that Oregon State game, you had mentioned more than once that you really wanted to see a sense of urgency from your team and more physicality. Did you see that again at Oregon State?
I mean, we started the game on defense. And had a 4th down stop.
Right.
And so your juices are flowing, and you're amped up and really started the game how you wanted to start it. Then we got a couple good runs and got down to the red zone, and then the 3rd and 1 fumbled, and it's like, man, it's all right. We'll pick it back up. Got another stop defensively.
Right.
And then had the crazy kick 6.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And so, like I said, I thought we battled. I thought the guys played hard. I thought physically we played the game the right way. Got to clean up some technique stuff and help out the guys with some schematic enhancements that we've tweaked this week, and just learn from some of the failures that we've had early. And so I'm glad that we've learned and experience those things at the part of the season that's before Big Ten play.
Yep. More with Coach Ryan Walters when we come back. We're live tonight from Walk-Ons. We're talking Purdue football because it's the Purdue Football Live Show on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
4 passing, 4 on the ground. Nice balance.
Play fake. Plummer's pass a little behind his receiver, but it is a first down. Bryson Hopkins, tight end.
Take it to the edge. That's one thing I'd like to see his game improve.
Martinez looking for a corner route. Now he's sacked. Back at the 8 by Derek Barnes. Lines up in the backfield now, number 10. Now goes in motion to the top of your screen. Martinez looking for him in the corner. It's intercepted. Big stop by Purdue.
What he wants to do and needs to do on the edges in the throw game.
See if King Goru can get going here.
I got to read a better read.
A nice move there.
Nice move.
How about that?
Wow,
Goru can do. Goru lost it as he hit the turf.
Let's get the yards. I mean, that's what you like from the quarterback.
Goru takes the swing.
Touchdown.
It's open. It's touchdown, Purdue.
Tight end.
Missed him. Nope, found him. At the 10, at the 5.
Yes, sir.
In the end zone, touchdown.
You see Payne Durham from the 87 as he settles in. I've been kind of tracking it, and there's a pattern that's developing.
Yep.
Those underneath rubs were getting to Nebraska. They couldn't clear him enough, and Payne does a fantastic job.
With Matt McCann, the right guard, made a really good block to help spring Horvath there. There he is again, going the other way. Look at those big uglies down there blocking. Horvath to the 30 and inside the 30 at the 28-yard line. Horvath in goal. Can do. Touchdown, Purdue.
Offensively to expect that they can march the ball down the field.
That's right in motion. Play fake.
Nice. Got it.
Reverse
Touchdown.
to Bell. All the way. Ring it up, Purdue.
Who it was yesterday that asked Coach Baum if you've got a little trickery in your bag. He said, well, we got a couple things we can do. Here's one of the things they can do, the reverse off the action, run action, play action away.
Welcome back, everyone. Live tonight from Walk-Ons with Purdue Football Live. I'm Rob Blackman, filling in for Tim Newton tonight. Tim will be with us Saturday on the call of Purdue and Nebraska. This reminder, that's a 12 noon kick on Saturday, 11 a.m. for our pregame show here on the Purdue Radio Network. The 2024 Purdue football season is presented by Purdue Global. Earn a degree you'll be proud of with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults and the preferred online university degree provider of the Guild and Team USA Learning Network. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. Head coach Ryan Walters alongside as we talk Boilermaker football. I'd be interested to know, Coach, the travel itinerary, I guess, coming home from Oregon State. The team flew home right after the game. Wasn't easy. You had to bus from Corvallis to Eugene, which is about an hour bus ride, fans, but then flying out of Eugene, landing at the Purdue airport at about 6:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. Normally you guys do meet as a team and as a staff on Sundays. Did the schedule stay the same on Sunday, or how did you try to work around the, I guess, the difficult schedule of flying overnight, landing at 6:30 in the morning?
Yeah, try to get some work done on the plane, because Nebraska, they played Friday, so they had a, they had like a Saturday and a Sunday to get a jump on us. So wanted to put the game to bed. And evaluate it and critique it on the plane. Like you said, landed at 6:30 a.m., let the guys go home and get some rest. Brought them back Sunday afternoon. They got worked out with our strength conditioning coach. And then we met as a, offense and defense to go over the tape. And then had a team meeting. And then sent them home, try to get some rest, and recuperate from Monday, and then practiced on Tuesday morning. Have you noticed any jet lag or any lack of enthusiasm with practices this week because of that long trip? No, the guys are hungry. Like this is a group that is together and takes things at face value. We've played 3 games. Sure. And I felt like last week I saw in spurts what I've been seeing since January, and there was things that you could point to. I said, here, this is what it looks like. This is who we are. We just have to do it collectively for 4 quarters. And so the guys have really answered the bell to that challenge with their preparation this week. We had a really good spirited practice on Tuesday. It was a detailed and clean practice Wednesday, and then this is about as clean a Thursday as we've had since I've been here. So hopefully that leads to positive play and complimentary football Saturday at noon. One of the things I enjoyed talking with coaches after a game, Coach Walters, is getting their perspective on the game.
say 24 or 48 hours removed when you've had the chance to actually watch the film? I know it's always tough. Whomever the coach is, you join us on the radio network. The game is just completed. You've had maybe 10 minutes to digest it. You saw it live as it happened, but obviously there are things that are going to happen in the game that, you know, you may have seen differently once you see it on the film. When you went back and looked at that film from Oregon State, it sounds to me like you're saying, hey, we saw some things that we really feel like we can build on, and we're really positive.
Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna lie. Like right after the game, I was hot, right?
Yeah. We know.
You know, especially coming off of the disappointment of the Notre Dame game. You know, wanting to really make a statement with that next week, and you lose, and you know, you feel like you lost to a team that obviously they played better than we did on Saturday. But, you know, I felt like that was a game we could have won, should have won.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're on the hour bus ride to the airport and you're hot. Then you get the laptop on the plane and you start watching it. And you're like, man, like, okay, we were physically dominant for a large portion of that game. We moved the ball on offense, especially on the ground. You know, just missed a couple opportunities that could have completely changed the outcome of that game. And you know, the ball didn't bounce our way, and we made some dumb mistakes that you can't make. You know, we're not in a position as a program to overcome self-inflicted wounds of that magnitude. And so again, we, you know, as a staff, we got to make sure that we're putting our guys in positions to have success. And then as a team and you know, as a roster, we got to make plays when our number is called, and so it is definitely a collective effort as a program to you know, to improve and to go out there and compete at a high level for extended periods of time.
And is it one of the tricks as a coach and coaching staff to make sure your players understand that, hey, we're doing some good things here, guys.
Yeah.
Let's just do it a little bit more often.
Right, like you know, I've always operated in telling them the truth. I'm not trying to Jedi mind trick them or anything like that.
Right.
You know, so we watched some key plays and key moments that kind of told the story of how the game unfolded. But you see, like I said, spurts where it's like, okay, this is what it looks like. This is what the type of potential that we have. But potential is a scary word. It just means you're not there yet.
Sure.
And so. You know, it's our job, my job as the head coach to get us there, like right now. And so, you know, like I said, with the Big Ten play coming up and a very talented Nebraska team coming off of a disappointing home loss. So, you know, hopefully we learn the lessons from the Notre Dame game and in terms of how physical this game is going to be, how you know, how eager our opponent is going to you know, come out and compete, and so we gotta match that and you know, answer the bell and play our brand of football for 4 quarters.
More on Nebraska in a little bit, but for now we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to linebacker Kydran Jenkins, one of the best in the Big Ten this season, as he was last season. We'll get his thoughts about Boilermaker football and that matchup against Nebraska on Saturday. This is Purdue Football Live on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Decided, all right, I'm ready now. I want to try out for an NFL team, and I couldn't get a tryout. I tried and tried, and nobody would give me an opportunity. The Pittsburgh Steelers came in here, Coach Knoll and his staff, to work out Mike Pruitt.
Okay.
And somebody was supposed to throw to him, and they didn't show. And I was just up playing basketball in the old field house upstairs. And somebody ran up and said, gee, can you throw to Mike Pruitt and I said, sure. So I ran down and I went through and Mike was struggling a little bit with what they were telling him to do. And they were putting through the process. And I went to Coach Knoll. I says, do you mind if I just run the tryout? I said, I think I can tell Mike in Purdue terminology and he'll look better. And he goes ahead. So I ran the whole workout, told him what to do, you know, called the plays, did everything. And Coach Knoll said, do you want to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers? And then once you have somebody want to sign you, then other teams want to sign you.
Funny.
And then so I got the opportunity to sign with the Lions, and that's the one I took.
Absolutely. And
I had a steady girlfriend I ended up marrying. It was Christy King, was George King's daughter. We have 4 beautiful children. We have 17 grandchildren. Most of the money I've made has been spent so far, so I gotta keep working, So, no, everything I have is come from Purdue. Was great enough to let me be a GA after I got done playing. So I learned more about football under Alex Agassi and got to meet a lot of great people. So Purdue has given me a lot more than I gave them. But hopefully, over the length of my career, they're proud of what I accomplished.
Oh, I know that pride runs deep for sure. Boilermakers are Boilermakers for life. And you, like I said, you've given lots of memories on the field and beyond. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Welcome back to Purdue Football Live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where there's validated parking and kids eat free on Tuesdays. Rob Blackman filling in for Tim Newton, who's being honored tonight with a 2024 Distinguished Alumni Award from the College of Liberal Arts. Congratulations to Tim for that outstanding, and I mean outstanding, honor. As I told you going to the break, fifth-year senior linebacker Kydran Jenkins is joining me here on Purdue Football Live. And yes, I said linebacker, by the way, not rush end, as you may have remembered him in the last few seasons. Kydran makes the transition to inside linebacker this season for Purdue defensively. Let's start there, Kydran. That transition, a guy who, quite frankly, was really making some noise coming off the edge the last couple of seasons. Now you play on the inside. What's that transition been like for you?
I mean, I just been getting better and better every day. Taking one day at a time, getting the right ropes in. It's been a good transition, though, for me. And I'm excited for the rest of the season.
Sure. I did hear in the offseason when the transition was going to be made, one of the many reasons was from the coaching staff standpoint, and I can assume you had input on this, they felt like your chances as a professional football could only increase if you knew how to play also inside backer. Was that something that went into that decision?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, being able to play off the edge and move to middle, it showed my versatility. So, yeah, definitely that helped me, like, with scouts in the NFL and to get to the next level.
Do you now? Well, look, we're only 3 games into this middle linebacker thing. So, do you feel comfortable? Do you feel like you're all the way there, or do you feel like there's still a learning curve as you go along here?
I'm definitely building my confidence. Like, the first 2 games, I was kind of nervous being in space like that. But the 3rd game, I finally found that confidence, and everything started clicking for me. So I'm starting to feel good every time, like every rep, every play. So,
well, 16 tackles, 2 sacks against Oregon State. I think that would add just a little bit of verification that, yes, you're starting to figure it out at inside linebacker. All Big Ten honorable mention the last 2 seasons. But again, has a rush end. Coming off that edge, knowing that, hey, if I can get to the quarterback, then something good's probably going to happen. Now you find yourself in a position where you're still putting up fantastic numbers, but doing it in a different way. If you could, and this might be a difficult question, so I'll apologize up front, but if there's one major difference, you say the one major difference between coming off the edge and playing in the middle, it would be what?
I wish I could still get to the quarterback from the middle too, but I still do. I find my way to the quarterback. But
are you telling me there's a lot more traffic coming from the middle to get to that QB?
Yeah, it's a lot harder playing Mike and trying to get to the quarterback.
Well, you may know this, but if you don't, even if you do, I'm gonna brag on you anyway for our listeners. Right now, 20 career sacks for Kydran Jenkins. No one else in the Big Ten currently playing has that many sacks in all of the Big Ten. This guy sitting to my right is the career leader right now as far as players playing right now Big Ten football in sacks with 20 career sacks, and we still have a long ways to go.
Yes, sir.
Right now he's averaging 9 tackles a game. That is good for second best in the Big Ten. And right now he's getting almost 2 tackles for loss per game, 1.8 to be exact. That is also second best in all of the Big Ten. Your individual numbers have been outstanding, Kydran. Pass defense, you guys have been very good this season. I don't think anyone would argue that. Rush defense, though, last 2 games, Notre Dame and Oregon State, they have found success running the football. What have we been working on this week defensively to try to clear that up? Because you know as well as I, Nebraska, that's a team that can also run that football.
Yeah, for sure. I just feel like this week we've been focusing on a lot of, like, being aggressive in a lot of scrimmage, playing with our hands more, getting a lot of knockback, setting hard edges, like just standing all gap and screening, and like that's gonna help us like stop the run and win the line of scrimmage. So that's one of the goals for this game for sure.
And this will be a physical game. I mean, you've
sure.
watched Nebraska on tape. Does it come down to being a physical defense, as you said, getting hands on first and trying to be the aggressor?
Yeah, overall we got to be physical. We pride ourselves on being physical and precise and fast, and those three things we pride our defense in, and that's the first thing I said, physical. So.
Kydran Jenkins from Louisville, Georgia, everyone. Not Louisville. That would be in Kentucky. Louisville, Georgia. Let's give it up for Kydran Jenkins, everyone. Great job, man. Thank you. We'll step aside for a second. When we come back, we'll talk offense for our Boilermakers. Gus Hartwig, the starting center, joins me. That's coming up next on Purdue Football Live on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome inside Boilers Center. I'm your host, Craig Combs, and this continues to be your source for anything and everything that is Purdue Boilermaker athletics. Ahead, a West Coast weekend for the Boilers as the football team was out in Corvallis trying to break the dam of the Beavers. And the Big Ten representatives from the state of California were here in West Lafayette out at Folk Field taking on the soccer team. But first, the Purdue volleyball team faced 3 tough tests in the Sunflower State. On Thursday, the Boilers matched up with the 10th-ranked Jayhawks in Lawrence. All 4 sets were decided by 4 points or less, but the Jayhawks' efficiency was too much for the Boilers to overcome, falling 3-1. Coach Dave Shondel's squad then had less than 24 hours to prepare for 9th-ranked Creighton. Again, the Blue Jays made a couple more plays than the Boilers, winning the 4-set match. Purdue then had to turn the page again with just 18 hours of rest before taking on Tulsa to cap the weekend. This time the result was a little bit more favorable for the Boilers as the offense was balanced. The defense recorded 11 blocks in a 3-set sweep. On Monday afternoon, Coach Dave Shondel talked about the tests his team faced this weekend.
Overall, we're 9-2, 8 matches on the road, 3 at home. Could be 11-0, but we could probably be worse as well. So I think that we're on schedule to where we need to be.
The Purdue soccer team welcomed USC and UCLA to Folk Field this past weekend. Thursday's game with the Trojans was on the Big Ten Network and saw the visitors take a lead less than 4 minutes into the game. The Boilermakers appeared to get the equalizer later in the first, but an offsides call took an Abigail Roy goal off the board. Emily Edwards made 5 saves on the night, but it wasn't enough as the home team fell 1-0. On Sunday, the Boilermakers welcomed UCLA to town. After a scoreless first half, the Bruins scored 2 quick goals in the second to take the victory. The Boilermakers now stand at 5-4-1, 1-2 in Big Ten play. They now head to the Pacific Northwest this week to play at Washington and Oregon. The men's golf team is hosting the Purdue Fall Invitational this week out at Camping Kostler Course, playing through the rain. The women's golf team is up in East Lansing at the Mary Fossum Invitational. Happy homecoming to Boilermakers everywhere. We hope that you enjoy a safe and successful homecoming week this weekend on campus. We'll hope to see you out at Ross-Ade on Saturday as the Boilermakers take on the Cornhuskers. And from all of us here at Boiler Center, thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you next week on Boiler Center. I'm your host, Craig Combs. And as always, Boiler up, hammer down, hail Purdue.
Welcome back to Walk-Ons, everyone, in the Purdue Memorial Union. Tonight, Purdue Football Live as we talk Boilermaker football. We're here each and every Thursday, for the most part, 6 o'clock during the Purdue football season. I'm Rob Blackman. My next guest is starting center Gus Hartwig, the Zionsville native, kind enough to join me. Gus, the 5th-year senior, who has, of all the amazing accolades that have been thrown Gus's his way since he's been at Purdue, he's been named All-Conference 4 times. He's a 5th-year player. 4 times All-Conference honorable mention. I will start with that. I was telling the Kydran the same thing, maybe off the air. It's hard for me to wrap my head around that you guys are 5th-year players. Like, it feels like you just got here. Yep. But that's me. I'm old and forgetful about things. As a player, does it feel like 5 years? Does it feel like 15 years? What's it feel like for you?
there's parts that feel like 5. There's parts that feel like 1. It's just kind of you kind of go back and forth with those where it's kind of, okay, hey, like this feels like I've done this forever. And oh, man, like I feel like I haven't been here that long when you kind of get around guys. But then when guys like, oh, I was born in 2007, it's like, I feel kind of old now. Like, I feel old when they say that.
Right. Well, be born in 1970, brother. Then you're really going to feel old. I want to talk. I mentioned you're from Zionsville, and that is significant, I think, because we got a kid from Zionsville who had originally started his career at Notre Dame, is now playing on the offensive line for Purdue, in Joey Tenona. He's a wonderful story. If you don't know the backstory, the Cliff Notes version is injured in an automobile accident at Notre Dame, thought he'd never play again. He is playing again. He's playing here at Purdue. He's one of the guys that can really help us out on the offensive line. But he was a high school teammate of yours. How influential were you in getting Joey to, A, have the confidence to say, hey, I think I can play football again, and B, come here to Purdue?
Yeah, I think just kind of for him, like whenever he felt like he was good enough and like felt like healthy enough to come play, I was all for him coming to play here just because I knew once he had medical there, he couldn't go back and play there.
Sure.
So it was kind of like at that point, like whenever he felt healthy, I wanted him to come play here, and then kind of having conversations with coaches. Like once he got in the portal, I was like, okay, hey, like I would love to have you here, and kind of coaches got on board, and it's awesome to have him here. He's a great player.
So you helped recruit him to Purdue. It sounds like, did you also maybe put a bug in the ear of the coaches and be like, hey, this guy could really help us? Yeah,
kind of when he got in that portal, talking to Coach Johnson, talking to Nojo, talking to Walt, kind of having those guys like, hey, like this is a guy that I think would help us, and kind of they have the respect for me to kind of look into some more, and they ended up agreeing with me and bringing him in.
Your season last season was so unique. You missed, I think, the first 3 games of the year, I think. Is that right? Yeah. And then when you finally came back and were healthy, if I remember correctly, you played some center, played some guard, played some tackle. You were all over the place last year.
Yep.
For you personally, what was that experience like? And I would assume if professional football is something you have your eye on down the road, that can't hurt to have played every position on the offensive line.
Yeah, just kind of last year, just kind of going wherever the team needed me, just kind of with as many injuries we had up front on the offensive line, kind of having to move guys around and get the best guys out there. And kind of at certain points, needing to go play right tackle, needing to go play a couple different spots, just kind of help the team do whatever I can. And then obviously for the next level, showing versatility always helps.
Offensively, this team's been running the football really well. I mean, you look at the numbers Purdue put up against Oregon State on Saturday. Now Devin Mockabee he's gone over 2,000 yards career rushing with the effort he had, well over 100 yards in that game Saturday. Rushing the football as an offensive lineman, that's like that's the bread and butter, right? That's the icing on the cake. That is what you guys want to do, right? Is run the football.
Yes, sir. I mean, it kind of gives the opportunity to go out there and be physical and just kind of get in a groove and go. I mean, you got 2 really good backs. We got a good 5 guys up front. Just kind of having the ability to go out there and just run and be able to go be physical and really attack guys. It's a lot of fun out there.
What about having guys like Devin Mockabee and Reggie Love, who, look, I suppose they make your job a little bit easier, right? As talented, as skilled as they are?
Yeah, just kind of having those guys be able to set up blocks and kind of understand the angles of them. And if the backer's floating over top, they'll cut behind. If he's sticking underneath, they're fast enough to get by him. So it's kind of having the ability to kind of set up blockers, I think, is huge for us.
Gus Hartwig is our guest, and the timing for Gus was perfect, by the way. I'm going to put him on the spot here. I'm not trying to embarrass him. I'm trying to actually compliment him. Earlier today, Gus was named to the Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year watch list. Not a whole lot of guys make that list. Congratulations on that, Gus.
Thank you.
Earlier in the week, he was named a semifinalist for the William Campbell Trophy, which goes to the best scholar athlete in college football. You can't just be just a good player. You got to be really good in the classroom. And he's also on the Remington Trophy watch list. Not bad for our 5th-year senior, Gus Hartwig. Keep up the good work, man, and good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
When we come back, I'm rejoined by the head coach of the Boilermakers, Ryan Walters. We'll set the stage for Purdue and Nebraska on Saturday. This is Purdue Football Live on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Durham down here.
Good call, man. Haven't seen 87 yet tonight. 3rd and goal, empty backfield, O'Connell. Over the middle, zips it towards the back of the end zone. That's caught for a touchdown by T.J. Sheffield. To Sheffield. Purdue on the board first at home.
It usually translates in the pocket.
Purdue 2 out of 2 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 12. They go back to Jones, a back shoulder catch. O'Connell on the slant, throws a dart. Jones keeps his feet. Jones to the end zone. Touchdown, Purdue. O'Connell and Jones once again. 31-yard touchdown. All 3 timeouts, 5:41 to go until halftime. They fake it to Grant. Thompson rolling. Now throwing, and it's intercepted. It's picked off. On the return, Clyde Washington. It's Maccabee right side. Maccabee into the end zone. Touchdown, Purdue. Or that. Indiana. Maccabee into the end zone. Purdue adds on to his lead. We're back in 30 seconds. Important third down here. And that's caught Sheffield. Sheffield spins free. Sheffield dives. Touchdown, Purdue. To his running backs. And once again found T.J. Sheffield for the second time tonight. Slipped away once, twice, and found the end zone man for the second. Thompson picks up 6. Nebraska moves the chains down 7. Now here's the chance, and into coverage, incomplete. Incomplete. O'Connell will throw, and it's caught by Jones. Touchdown, Purdue. What a pass.
Away from anybody. He's eminently covered, and look at this ball. Right.
Purdue Football live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union. 2024 Purdue football season presented by Purdue Global. Earn a degree you're proud of with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults and the preferred online university degree provider of the Guild and Team USA Learning Network. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. Purdue head coach Ryan Walters rejoining me here on the show. Good news for the Boilermakers, especially on the defensive side of the ball, Coach Walt. Looks like we're going to get healthy in a couple of areas. Nyland Green back this week. First time we'll see him this season. He's been injured. And sounds like Winston Berglund is going to provide some depth at linebacker. He's back as well. What specifically Nyland for certain, what does he add to that defense?
You know, he's a long, athletic corner, plays with physicality, you know, brings energy every day, you know, is a vocal leader. And he is anxious and excited to get out there for sure. So he had a really good week of practice, and you know, we're happy to have him back.
3 years at Georgia for Nyland Green, a major contributor for them, not only on the special teams but in the secondary as well. You know this, but so our fans know this. Coming out of high school, he's the number 5 DB in the country. I mean, this guy can play.
No, he really can. You know, he's 6'2", you know, 190 or so pounds, and can really run and change directions for a guy his size. And so, like I said, you know, he's got one of the biggest hands on the team as a corner. Like it's pretty freaky traits, you know what I mean? So, you know, you can see why he was rated so high coming out of high school.
I certainly don't want you giving out any trade secrets for this coming Saturday against Nebraska, but a general question. With him healthy and in the lineup, does it allow you to do some things differently defensively than maybe you've done in the first 3 weeks because of his cover ability?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's got to go out there and perform, right, and put it on tape. But there is some comfort knowing that he's out there and where he is and where you can lean opposite. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. More with Coach in a moment. I promised you we're going to talk Nebraska. We're going to do it on the other side of the break. It's the big game coming up Saturday. It's the homecoming game. Coach Walters and I talk Cornhuskers when we come back. This is Purdue Football Live on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
4 passing, 4 on the ground. Nice balance.
Play fake. Plummer's pass. A little behind his receiver, but it is a first down. Bryson Hopkins, tight end.
Take it to the edge. That's one thing I'd like to see his game improve.
Martinez looking for a corner route. Now he's sacked. Back at the 8 by Derek Barnes. Lines up in the backfield now, number 10. Now goes in motion to the top of your screen. Martinez looking for him in the corner. That's intercepted. Big stop by Purdue.
What he wants to do and needs to do on the edges in the throw game.
See if Pingoru can get going here.
I got to read a better read.
A nice move here.
Nice move.
How about that?
Wow.
Doru can do. Doru lost it as he hit the turf.
Let's get the yards. I mean, that's what you like from the quarterback.
Doru takes the swing.
Touchdown.
It's open. It's touchdown, Purdue.
Tight end.
Missed him. Nope, found him. At the 10, at the 5. in the end zone, touchdown.
You see Payne Durham from the 87 as he settles in. I've been kind of tracking it, and there's a pattern that's developing. Those underneath rubs were getting to Nebraska. They couldn't clear him enough, and Payne does a fantastic job.
With Matt McCann, the right guard, made a really good block to help spring Horvath there. There he is again, going the other way. Look at those big uglies down there blocking. Horvath to the 30 and inside the 30 at the 28-yard line. Horvath getting goal. Can do! Touchdown, Purdue!
Go offensively to expect that they can march the ball down the field.
That's right in motion. Play fake.
Nice, got it.
Reverse
Touchdown.
to Bell all the way. Ring it up, Purdue.
Who it was yesterday that asked Coach Barlow if you've got a little trickery in your bag. He said, well, we got a couple things we can do. Here's one of the things they can do, the reverse off the action, run action, play action away.
This is Purdue Football Live, and we are live tonight at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union. Rob Blackman, head football coach Ryan Walters sitting alongside as we now preview the homecoming matchup Saturday, 12 noon. Nebraska coming to town. The Cornhuskers are 3-1 on the season. Coach mentioned this a little while ago. Suffered their first loss last Friday night. It was a home game actually for them. Lost in overtime to Illinois. First setback for Nebraska this season. So they're 3-1 overall, 0-1 in the league. Coming to Ross-Age Stadium, a sold-out Ross-Age Stadium. Over 61,000 will be in attendance on Saturday. And fans, again, we say thank you for that. So what about this Nebraska team, Coach? As you look at them, as you break down the film, look, most of the story around them is revolved around their freshman quarterback, Dylan Raiola. I understand that. Everyone always talks about the quarterback. But as you break them down, what are you seeing?
Yeah, on offense, obviously, the quarterback is a especially talented kid. He can make all the throws from every platform and off balance, and he's still accurate. He's got a lot of confidence. He trusts his guys to go make plays. But he's not the only good player on that side of the ball. They got two wideouts on the edge that are, big physical receivers. They got a slot that can really go. Tall, long tight ends that add value in both the run and the pass game. And some running backs that get downhill and run really hard. On defense, they're sort of stalwart of the defense is right up the middle with the two interior defensive tackles that are big, physical. They play with good pad level. Really try to get knocked back on the offensive line. They got athletic, backers in the second level, and they got some cover guys that can really cover. They do a good job of disguising coverages and being multiple with the looks they present pre-snap. And they do a good job of stunting and trying to confuse you and getting the wrong ID in the run game. So good football team, well coached, and very talented.
The fact that Raiola is a true freshman and he was not the quarterback we saw last year in Lincoln, can you gain much from looking at last year's tape, that game played in Lincoln?
I think you do to an extent, because the quarterback we played against is still there and they still use him.
Yeah, right. I saw him throw like a double pass in that Illinois game, right? They put him in the slot. And they'll do some quarterback run game. Obviously we struggle with that against Notre Dame, and I could see them having some packages for him. So we've worked on that, and there's still some familiar faces, but they've also added some key additions that have produced for them up to this point. Raiola, the quarterback, probably the one thing I also should have mentioned, big kid, 6'3", 230. Doesn't look like a freshman.
No, he doesn't. He does not. His dad was an offensive lineman, and so he gets it honest in terms of his size. But he's athletic. He's fun to watch on tape. You know what I mean? I know he doesn't like the Mahomes comparisons, but it's uncanny, like from what he wears to how he approaches pregame rituals to celebrations to the way he throws the football. It's fun to watch.
I'm going to throw this challenge out to our Purdue fans that are going to be in the stadium on Saturday. One thing that I think is significant in this matchup from a Nebraska standpoint is this is their first road game. They played their first 4 games at home. They have not been outside of Lincoln, Nebraska for a football game until this Saturday at Ross H. Stadium. So Purdue fans, you need to do everything in your power to try to make it rough on those guys because, again, this is their first time out of Lincoln to play in a game, and it's their first time for their freshman quarterback to ever have played in a true road game in the college football atmosphere. So Purdue fans, we're counting on you. And I say that a little bit facetiously. The fact is, Coach, we've been able to count on our fans all season.
Absolutely.
Our home attendance has been awesome.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. You know, I've bragged about it all the time. So we appreciate you. The atmosphere is electric, and you know, I promise you we'll give you a good show.
Well, counting on you fans. It's going to be homecoming, right? So you may, hey, what else are you going to do, right? You're already going to be in the stadium if you're part of the sold-out crowd. So be loud and be proud. And let's try to make it tough on the Huskers. One thing Nebraska has done well this season, they've done a lot of things well. They're +4 in the turnover game. As you well know, Coach, we're still trying to get that first takeaway this season. I'm trying to speak it into existence here. That's going to be a huge part of this game, don't you think?
Absolutely. You know, time of possession, turnover margin, and playing complementary football. That's going to be the key.
And I know coaches talk about this all the time, third down conversions. Let me probably finish with that. Purdue, last 2 games, just 3 third down conversions. As you sit down and break it down with the offensive staff, is it a common denominator you're seeing? Is it multiple things? How do you fix that third down conversion problem and keep that team on the field?
It's that's sort of been the frustrating part. It's like, you know, it's one time it could be a schematic issue, right, where you know you don't have answers. Another time it's, you know, we dropped the ball here or there and had a chance to extend the drive. You know, we miss ID in a run fit, or you know, it's been all over the place, you know, and on every level. So that's why we got to learn from the mistakes that we made up to this point. Identify them, correct them, and come up with a good plan and make plays when those opportunities arise.
Well, as I said to start this show, the great thing about the first game on the Big Ten schedule is now the real season begins. And it's going to begin Saturday with that 12:01 kickoff, Purdue hosting Nebraska at what will be a sold-out Ross H. Stadium for homecoming Saturday. Coach Walters, good luck on Saturday. We'll look forward to seeing you at Ross Aid.
Thanks, my man. Boiler up.
Still one more segment to go on the Purdue Radio Network Football Live show, brought to you by the Purdue Radio Network. I have some interesting tidbits for you when we come back, so stay close. This is the Purdue Football Live program on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Decided, all right, I'm ready now. I want to try out for an NFL team, and I couldn't get a tryout. I tried and tried, and nobody would give me an opportunity. The Pittsburgh Steelers came in here, Coach Knoll and his staff, to work out Mike Pruitt.
Okay.
And somebody was supposed to throw to him, and they didn't show. And I was just up playing basketball in the old field house upstairs. And somebody ran up and said, gee, can you throw to Mike Pruitt for the – and I said, sure. So I ran down, and I went through, and Mike was struggling a little bit with what they were telling him to do. And they were putting through the process. And I went to Coach Knoll. I says, do you mind if I just run the tryout? I said, I think I can tell Mike in Purdue terminology, and he'll look better. And he goes ahead. So I ran the whole workout, told him what to do, you know, called the plays, did everything. And Coach Knoll said, do you want to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers? And then once you have somebody want to sign you, then other teams want to sign you.
Funny.
And then so I got the opportunity to sign with the Lions, and that's the one I took.
Absolutely. And
I had a steady girlfriend. I ended up marrying. It was Christy King, was George King's daughter. We have 4 beautiful children. We have 17 grandchildren. Most of the money I've made has been spent so far, so I got to keep working, you know. So, no, everything I have has come from Purdue. Was great enough to let me be a GA after I got done playing. So I learned more about football under Alex Agassi and got to meet a lot of great people. So Purdue has given me a lot more than I gave them. But hopefully, over the length of my career, they're proud of what I accomplished.
Oh, I know that pride runs deep for sure. Boilermakers are Boilermakers for life, and you, like I said, you've given lots of memories on the field and beyond. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
And we'll
boiler up.
Boiler up.
Thank and recognize members of the Black and Gold Club who support Purdue athletics through their sponsorship at the highest level. Black and Gold Club members include Indiana Packers, Purdue Federal Credit Union, Purdue Global, Molson Coors, State Farm Insurance, Wabash, and Toyota. Each are great partners of Purdue Athletics. Time now for our Pro Boilers feature, where we look at how a former Purdue student athlete is doing in their professional sports career. Pro Boilers is presented by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. Get to know us at indianakitchen.com. Both our Pro Boilers and Indiana Kitchen are boiler made. And tonight it is a tip of the cap to quarterback Aiden O'Connell. Did you see him play for the Raiders last week in their blowout loss against the Panthers? They were behind, so the coach said, what the heck, let's put in the Purdue guy. He played the last 13 snaps of the game and was 9 of 12 passing for a touchdown. Not bad, and only 13 snaps worth of work. So congratulations, Aiden O'Connell, on a job well done for the Raiders in their loss. I have not seen. If someone knows, feel free to reach out and let me know. I know the Raiders play Cleveland on Sunday. Is Aiden O'Connell the starting quarterback? I don't know, actually, but if he is, good for him. But hopefully he is. But he had a great day in some mop-up work on Sunday, throwing a touchdown pass. So congratulations to Aiden O'Connell. A couple of housekeeping notes for this weekend, really. It's homecoming weekend, obviously, so a lot of things are going on around campus. Don't forget the homecoming parade starts at 7:30 tomorrow night, Friday night, 7:30 homecoming parade here on the Purdue campus. And then, if you'd like a little taste of Purdue basketball, you can head over to Mackey Arena, because when the homecoming parade is over, around about 9 o'clock or so, they're going to try to start around 9, where they're going to have the I don't know if it's called a film, or I guess we're calling it a film, entitled Phoenix, a Purdue Basketball Story. It's basically encompassing all of last Purdue basketball season in about an hour 20 worth of video. So you go in Mackey Arena, you can watch it on the big screen, the center hung scoreboard. You do need a ticket. It's free to go, but you need a ticket. Just go to PurdueSports.com. They'll walk you through how to get a ticket. You don't purchase a ticket because they're free, but you need a ticket to get into Mackey tomorrow night for that. So homecoming parade 7:30, then head over to Mackey Arena and watch the recap of last year's Purdue basketball season. Broadcast-wise on the Purdue Radio Network, noon on Saturday, 12:01 actually, for the kickoff with Purdue and Nebraska. Our pregame show on the radio network will start at 11 a.m. And if you haven't found out or haven't seen yet, the Purdue game at Wisconsin next Saturday has been set for a 12 noon kickoff. So Purdue, 12 noon Eastern at Wisconsin the following Saturday. Big thanks to Hunter Stunkel, our in-studio audio engineer. Thanks to Wes Scott Engineering on site. For KJ and Gus, for Coach Walters, I'm Rob Blackman. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you sold out Ross-Ade Stadium on Saturday.